Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. This is Jerry Sansing with another edition of the South Texas News and Reviews. Okay, I am my own producer. This is June the 23rd, 2019. Beautiful Sunday. And in the evening here, I'm filming this. The times that we've got this on was on Wednesday at noon to 1 o'clock p.m. and then 9 o'clock p.m. to 10 o'clock p.m. And then Thursdays we've got 11 o'clock a.m. until noon, and then we've got 8 p.m. until 9 p.m. My email address is gsansing@gmail.com if you'd like to get any information to me or have me provide any information for you. These are shows, this, and the what's going on in Corpus Christi, which I do, which sometimes is back to back with this one, but those are available on YouTube. If you go in and put Jerry with a J, E-R-R-Y, okay, and then Sansing, then you've got your pick of those. Plus we've got the voice of Ed Bennett, I think, that's on that same YouTube site. Anyway, I'm going to discuss a few things this evening of, I think, importance to taxpayers around here, and Del Mar College employees and the way we're treated at Del Mar. I am a Del Mar College employee for 30 years now, after I retired from pharmaceutical industry research and so forth and so on. And I am the president of the Taxpayers Association. What's going on in Corpus Christi is a result of what our membership wants me to put on the air. So we're going to have a good time this evening, I think. I'm just about fed up to my eyebrows with some of the garbage that goes on around this town with elected officials and you taxpayers out there. And Del Mar College employees, many of you are being, I hate to use the term, screwed. I'll be right back. Okay, this graphic is rather graphic in that I think that if you take a look at the largest number of people around here are all these politicians with CCISD, county, Del Mar College, city, etc., etc. Then they're big shots. They're those pachyderms, is what that elephant is. Okay. Now there's a woman there standing there who's very appalled, and this is not the most tasteful graphic in the world, but she's holding a bag there. And you can see what that pachyderm's doing to her. Well, she's typical taxpayer around here and citizen, and with all these pachyderm entities around here, that's what they're doing to you, folks. It's called pachyderm excrement, day after day after day, and it's costing you just tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of dollars. And we need to end this mess. So I'm going to be very blunt tonight with a lot of things, and all I can do is maybe ask Del Mar administration to fire me again, and then I may get another letter that says, Dr. Sansing, we can fire you, but you can't request to be fired. Now, I still haven't figured out after many years what that meant. But I'm going to be right back, and we're going to lay it on the line, folks. This is Purge My Soul night. Okay, here's a sign that I put out. You can, bottom left, you can see it's paid for by me. And what this was all about, somebody asked me the other day. I've had pretty great results with this international no. That started with Las Brisas Energy Center years ago, and progressed through a lot of people running for mayor and different offices, and so forth and so on. And I'm sure it's perturbed an awful lot of people. Now, what this one was about was this last board vote. And what I said was, anybody that's running for the Board of Regents, there were 3 regents vying for that. I said vote no to all of the current regents members at the time. Okay, and I was very sincere with that. The Board of Regents at Del Mar College is a disaster, except for a couple of people. I will stand up for 2 or 3 of them. Okay, but the others have been on there way too long, and they don't really care and give a damn about taxpayers or what's going on at Del Mar. They just like those free lunches and trips to Austin and wherever they're going to go. Anyway, I'm going to show you another one which really burned me up, and I'll be right back. Okay, here's another one that was up a couple of years ago when they went for, Del Mar College went for that 2016 bond for Del Mar College bonds to build that south campus out there after in 2014 you people screwed up and approved $157 million, I think it was, to build new buildings on east and west, and the lies that were told by the administration and some of the board members at that time that, oh wow, we're just bursting at the seams with students and we need all these new facilities and stuff. And even though we can't afford and we don't have the money nor the desire to take care of what we've got and maintain it, we're going to build some more. So I'm going to talk about that too. But I'm tired of the lying and the cheating and the stealing and stuff going over there, and I don't mind blowing the whistle on it. Okay, so that's what's going to happen here. And if you look down there on the bottom left, it says paid for by Sansing et al. One more time. And it served me well with Las Brisas. That baby killing facility's not up, but I'll get into some of the finer arts of how to make a sign with that international no on it. I'll be right back. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, it looks like the lights are on and the camera's rolling. Let me go back around here and we'll see what type of discussions we need to have so that maybe we can turn this community back into something of worth for the citizens rather than all of our elected officials and all of their buddies. Okay? Now, these beautiful lilies are dedicated to my deceased mother, Miss Connie, my deceased wife, Miss Lynn. Many of you people out there knew her. And a good friend of mine, this April 23, up in Arlington, Texas. All right, so the air times for this, I'll go ahead and give you those. We have taken over, no, that's not true, okay? Now, we've been broadcasting this on channels on Spectrum, the old time Warner for years, and Grande on channel 10, and then AT&T picked it up on their channel 99. And that was our channel 10 public access show. Okay, now those are still being run, and then channel 18, which was another public access station through the city of Corpus Christi to all these other fine folks. Then what we've done is we've been able to put our shows on that in addition to the channel 18 people. So on Spectrum, if you want to watch these, if you've got that one on channel 1304 on Spectrum, it's channel 18 on Grande, and still channel 99 on AT&T. So here are the following times on channel 10, Spectrum 1303, and 99 on AT&T. South Texas News and Reviews airs Wednesday from 9 until 10 p.m., and then Thursday from 8 o'clock until 9 p.m. Okay? And then I've given you the what's going on in Corpus Christi times. Okay? Then South Texas News and Reviews, if you're looking at Grande channel 18 or 1304 on Spectrum or channel 99 on AT&T in the mornings. Then South Texas News and Reviews airs Wednesday at noon to 1 p.m. and then again Thursday from 11 a.m. until noon. Okay? And if you need to get a hold of me and find out when these things are going, then you can email me at gsansing@gmail.com. Okay, and I'll be glad to, conference with you whatever information you need from me on any of these things. Okay? Now, I have run into another graphic that I show. This was Pinocchio. Pinocchio was a Disney character. He made several films, I think. He was a wooden puppet who wanted to be a human being, and part of that being a human being was telling the truth and not lies, and Jiminy Cricket up here could tell when he was lying because when his nose started growing Pinocchio's, they knew he was lying. So I use that as a guide, and I think that Pinocchio is the perfect person to exemplify many of our elected officials around here, and I watch their noses grow frequently. Okay, and I'm sick and tired of it, folks. I'm overtaxed, and I work my butt off for Del Mar College still, and for the city and the welfare around here with a lot of very fine folks that do the same thing. Okay, now I ran into a publication, and I can put this on the air. I checked out with the president of the POG Association, the Public Access Users Group. I am the first vice president of that group, and I had an inkling this could do. I am not advertising this magazine, the group, or their advertisers in there, okay? I'm just telling you that I had not seen this until recently, and it's called the Coastal Bend Magazine. And if you would like to get into their email address, their website, then all you have to do, and on the magazine cover here, this is all in capital letters, but it's the Coastal Bend, all one run.com, and this will come up. Now, this edition is the spring edition of 2019, which is where we are now. I don't know when the summer will come out, and I'm going to check it out. But I was very interested in this because they've got an editorial in here that kind of knocked me down. Okay? And it says, "Drowned in incompetence, the shockingly individual source of persistent failure at Corpus Christi City Hall." Okay? Now, I've known this for a long time. Like I say, I was the chair of the Clean Economy Coalition when they tried to push Las Brisas Energy Center down your throat and kill 80 infants around here plus, and kill a bunch of cardiac patients and so forth and so on. And I was asked by a group of environmentalists if I was interested in chairing that because of my background in toxicology, biochemistry, and so forth. And I said yes. It infuriates me too with what they had put out for that baby killing facility. And it was courtesy of Chase Energy's company up there in the Houston area. And what they wanted to do was burn all this excess garbage that comes out when they squeeze all the profit out of the oil refineries and so forth, and burn what they call the petroleum coke. And as they would grind that up, you've got particulate matter. It sticks in your lungs and gives you asthma, kills you, and so forth and so on. Okay? So after several years, 6 or 7 years, and a lot of money, I had a great group that belonged to the Clean Economy Coalition around here, environmentalists and so forth, and we convinced the Texas Commission on Environmental Quality that they should not permit that and have it go. So that was a large victory, I think, and I hope, for all you people around here. And like I say, I was not the only one involved in that. I didn't do it single-handedly. I'm not claiming that. There were a couple of hundred people that jumped on that bandwagon, and we were able to pull that off. And we had physicians that donated their time, some very good attorneys around here, and so forth and so on, public health people, environmentalists, and so forth. So we were able to conquer that. Now, the city was pushing for that. I had no Las Brisas Energy Center signs all over the place, and T-shirts and everything else, and on bumper stickers, and we defeated that. And then my international no, as I said, has stopped some other shenanigans around here, and I haven't given up yet. But what happened is, this Drowned in Incompetence is a very lengthy, editorial written by someone over there. I'm trying to figure out who that is. I'm trying to contact this and see who the editor is and figure out who wrote this marvelous, very interesting and blunt and true article in this publication. And I think they had those at different places around grocery stores and so forth and so on. And I'm looking for other copies of this. But go into thecoastalbend.com and you can read this particular thing on page 44. It's the late spring 2019. Pardon me, my throat's wearing out. A word about confidential sources. Most of you who will read this story and the features in this magazine overall are doing so because we offered something new in Coastal Bend journalism: investigation. Okay? And to investigate is to find the truth under layers of deceit and protection. Okay? We can declare with confidence that the city of Corpus Christi and most every municipality in the Coastal Bend is infected with incompetence, gross inefficiency, and outright corruption. Amen. If you are a reader who disagrees with this notion, email us now at the Texas Coastal Bend at gmail.com. Okay, it's txcoastalbend@gmail.com to inform us of purity and local government, and we will do so. We'll do a story about it in our next edition. Despite the well-known and very costly shortcomings of leadership at the city of Corpus Christi, our local news media, which amounts to 2 TV newsrooms, we hear more are coming, or 1 daily newspaper plus a couple of weekly community papers serve as little more than transcribers of events in the past tense, although a few exceptions exist. Okay, and I will stick up for Channel 6 investigative reporting. Any effort to dig deeper into any issue of controversy is neither encouraged nor funded, and we as a community have suffered billions, yes billions, okay, of dollars in long-term damage due to a state of information oblivion, and there is much, much more to come. Okay? Now that's pretty succinct. I don't disagree with a word of that. Okay? This story is intended to clear some of that obviousness, this time on the subject of one of the Corpus Christi's costliest public debacles, the long-running and ongoing problems with the city's water department. Okay? Now this thing is rather extensive, folks, and I don't want to bore you, but I'm going to go ahead and pick out some key paragraphs in here. Okay? Now, until now, we citizens of Corpus Christi have never heard why and the who that connect one crisis after another, or how an unqualified city staffer has been allowed to fail over and over and not just survive in his job, but enjoy multiple promotions. Okay? This is the kind of story that can only be done with the help of confidential sources, people on the inside whom we have vetted as actively connected and who have provided verifiable evidence of their claims. To identify themselves, however, would result in termination of their positions by those whose power structure they threaten, while at the same time eliminating them as sources of what are really going on. Above all, like you and us as taxpayers and citizens who care about the future of our hometown, these folks want to live in a city that functions with competence and transparency, and that is operated by public servants whose only mission is to do what is good for the people of Corpus Christi and not for themselves or their allies personally. Now, this is a very corrupt town, folks. I've lived a lot of places as a service brat, and in my college career, and my research careers, and so forth and so on. And I must admit, this one is, we're getting real close to being a real Duval County center. Yeah? If you know what I mean. All right. The City of Corpus Christi Water Department has earned quite a reputation over the past decade or so, along with the disdain and in some cases hatred of our fellow citizens. Poor planning and procurement, coupled with varying levels of incompetence, have led to a consistent and costly comedy of errors that has labeled Corpus Christi a laughingstock among our fellow Texas cities. True. Businesses have closed, residents have been displaced, and city coffers have been drained to the tune of tens of millions of dollars and counting, all due to the failings of one city department, and amazingly, but not surprisingly to those of us who have grown accustomed to pay for less from our municipal services. One city employee in particular is at the root of just about every noticeable debacle born at the water department, and the list is long. Okay, and then they go ahead and give some numbers here. The water circus came full circle in December. Okay, but here's a paragraph that's very, very important. Some of the biggest failures at the water department are less known to public as we have not been directly affected, although all of us are on the hook financially. A proposal to scrap the city's wastewater system and consolidate into a one central plant cost almost $1.5 million to be confirmed as infeasible and a massive waste of money. 2 water towers and a cost of $100 million or $10 million in total have been sitting inoperable as Texas regulators prepare to fine the city for failing to meet numerous deadlines to get them up and running. The towers are virtual public safety assets in the event of a natural disaster. Okay. Then it goes on and on and on. Okay. Over this decade of debacles at the City of Corpus Christi Water Department, one man has managed it all and continues to ascend at City Hall, even once aspiring to win the most important and vital position in the entire municipality, that of city manager. While we as citizens live in a state of anxious expectation and worry over the next disaster at the water department, Assistant City Manager Mark Van Vleck has already mismanaged a painful saga over the last decade. One we and our kids will be paying for the foreseeable future. Meanwhile, our proper and polite elected city leaders will never name a name and seem more concerned with not rocking the boat. The real question is whether someone will stand up and do something. Okay? Then it gives instance after instance after instance of these water boils and toxins in the water and scaring the hell out of everybody around here. But more importantly, costing restaurants and hotels and tourist facilities and so forth a great deal of money, as well as the having you inconvenienced to have to go stand in line for 3 hours with a crate or two of drinking water in order to cover these screw-ups. And that's purified water. Okay. And then it goes on and on and on about Mr. Van Vleck and how he is not certified to do this according to the state. Most of the people with the water department down there are not certified with the proper authorities to do their job, and so forth and so on. And then it says confirmed reporting, drowned in incompetence, and this goes on page 50. So it goes from 44 to 50 with an awful lot of verbiage in it. Okay. And then the editor, the City of Corpus Christi, will not be providing information on the inaccuracies in your story based on advice from our legal counsel. That's the city responded to this. So the city fathers have read this, and I'm sure that Mr. Miles Risley is involved in this. He's our city attorney. I'm just going to say it. I've told the public this before. I've had several dealings with him, particularly the ADA compliance and the code enforcement and so forth, and he has told some very, very untruths about the functioning of the ADA and what the city of Corpus Christi should be doing to protect our citizens that fall under the American Disabilities Act, which is under the Department of Justice. And I've called him down for that, and he says that we really don't know what the hell we're talking about. And he tells these stories about, quote, the legalities of ADA and interprets that. And when he astounded me several years ago when this question was brought up about the palm trees over there at Gulfway Shopping Center, and he said that we don't have to cut those down and make it a sidewalk where people in wheelchairs and women pushing, buggies and stuff around the kidlets, and people with the walkers and so forth and on crutches They don't have to fix that because any of those people can go on that incline up into that murderous parking lot and get run over and killed up there. Or he made the rash statement that they could just go ahead and go out into the street there on Airline and take their chances. But they didn't have to, the city didn't have to do anything about that. Now AEP, bless their hearts, they did something about it. They went and cut those trees down, ground the stumps out, and went ahead and filled in that sidewalk. Now the only problem we've got is there are a couple of places with fire hydrants sitting in the middle of those things. The owners of that property, the Gulfway Center there, said that they would go ahead and donate enough land to the city where they could go ahead and cut and put a little bit of concrete around there so that people could go around those fire hydrants without having to tear the fire hydrants out and cost the city taxpayers a whole lot more money. And that's Mr. Miles Risley. Okay. And then I'll get into the fact that I am one of the 5 Friends of the Coliseum who by court order was able to halt the demolition of the Memorial Coliseum by 30 days by the contract that was signed by who was that knucklehead at the time. He's now a 148th District Court Judge, Valdez. Okay, Carlos Valdez. When he was the city attorney, he couldn't read his own contract with the demolition company, and the contract stated explicitly that if a judge put a temporary halt to the demolition of that, then the city and the contractors and so forth were not going to be able to get any money out of the 5 of us that were the quote Friends of the Coliseum. Now I'll get into that debacle. I've done that for a long time too. And then, you know, we've got several high rollers around town, bank vice presidents and vice presidents and presidents and, you know, judges and attorneys and so forth that wanted that Coliseum down so they could go with the Destination Bayfront for $44 million and make a, you know, a dog walk down there and a diaper disposal place and so forth and so on, and tear down a award-winning, worldwide award-winning Coliseum roof, which could have been salvaged very, very cheaply and provide an acre's worth of valuable shade down there to hold venues in the shade. And now what we've got is an absolute mess down there, and the only thing that whole damn property's worth right now is to hold the Buck Day Parade and have the Ferris wheels and the merry-go-rounds down there. And it's a mess. And then one of our esteemed vice presidents of a bank, who was on the Del Mar College board, by the way, as president for a long time, he's the one that concocted the Destination Bayfront in order to make, this is my opinion, to make money for a bunch of his contractor buddies down there. And then I've also dug up a lot of stuff here when it came to, I'll come to it in a minute. There is a contract that was let out for the, let's see, where is that? I'll get it right here. Construction manager contract for all of these bond issues that you people approved of for Del Mar College. And I'm going to get into that. They claim that they're bursting at the seams, and we've got this massive increase in enrollment over there and so forth and so on, which is a very, very large sack of pachyderm excrement and about 600 million tons of bovine excrement, and you can throw in many, many tons of equine excrement into that, and I could go into ovine and so forth and so on. And what they consider Del Mar College taxpayers to be, and as I said, I bit the bullet and I earned a PhD degree from a very reputable school. It was called Auburn University, okay, in microbiology and biochemistry, double major. So I am a microbial biochemist and an animal biochemist, and I took some plant biochem at the graduate level, okay. So I think I know how glucose is made and then how it's broken down and so forth and so on in your body to give you the energy to sit and watch television instead of going to the voting places and let's get rid of these bums. Okay, so I know that's kind of a backhanded slap for me, but that's the way I feel about it. Okay, now I know how to grow a mushroom, commercial mushrooms that you can go buy over at the different grocery stores around here. And I'm a fan of mushrooms. I love to saute them and so forth and so on. But what it takes, and my mother gave me a t-shirt one time when a large commercial mushroom company tried to hire me because they were having a viral problem and it was wiping out all of their mushroom stock and so forth and so on. And I decided I really didn't want to do that. But she sent me a t-shirt that had this big smiling mushroom on there, okay, with the big cap on it with the eyes and the smile, and then they had the pedestal there, okay. Now, the caption was, "I feel like a mushroom." And then it said something that was, I think it's publicly appropriate to say it. It was a little bit more blunt than this, but it says, "I'm kept in the dark and I'm fed nothing but equine feces." Okay? And they use the more, I guess, blunt phrase than that. So that's the way I feel in Corpus Christi, Texas, and with the city, and with Del Mar College, and CCISD, and the County Commissioner's Court, and everybody else around here. I feel like a mushroom because I'm kept in the dark all the time and fed nothing but equine excrement. And I wish I could find that t-shirt. I'd have to straighten out the equine stuff instead of horse stuff, but it serves the purpose. I believe in that. And this thing goes on and on and on. Okay, Coastal Bend community, it says, and then they're lie after lie after lie. I've known this. They mention the TCEQ and that people do not have the qualifications that are needed for this. I don't know how they get away with this. Okay. But, I know contaminated water when I see it. And then I'm told that I don't know diddly about toxic molds, although I've got 2 degrees with my graduate school research. And then I went to Peoria, Illinois for a couple of years, which was the mecca of antibiotic research and microbial toxins, particularly fungal toxins. And I've run toxicology studies with those. And, it's a little bit disheartening to have these experts at Del Mar College tell me I don't know what the hell I'm talking about. Okay? And these other bozos around here. Okay, well, we've discussed that, and, it's the Coastal Bend magazine. Look that article up on page 44. Would you do that for me, please? Okay. All right, now, another thing I've got is more information here about Del Mar College. Okay? And I'm going to talk a little bit about student complaints and how Del Mar College administration takes those at heart. Now, we're in trouble financially, and I can prove that, in that we're not going to make it at the current rate of taxation and so forth, and the lack of students to fill up that Southside campus, which just cost you a down payment, which was 1/3 of what the total cost is going to be, probably just 1/4, for $139 million. That was after the board members and the administration at Del Mar College decided to dupe you and pay almost $7 million for 95 acres of swampland at Rod Field in Yorktown. And it floods there, folks. And I've said this many times on the air. I've seen cows out there when Marie Colson owned that property, and she tried to build a house and the slab sunk into the mud out there, and she couldn't do that. And I've seen some of her horses and cattle that she was running out there for a while belly deep in water every time it rains. and then it wouldn't seep off of that into Oso Bay fast enough. So it's swampland. Okay? Yet we're going to build probably a $500 million worth of campus out there because we are bursting at the seams. Pardon me. I get all choked up, so I'm going to try to get over this. Okay? Now, another thing that I am upset about is that I have to take a risk every day I leave my house. At Palmetto or Ponish is where I have to go onto Ocean Drive to get myself to work. Now, if I go over to Palmetto, then what I have to do is I have to contend with a wrought iron fence in front of a house so that I cannot see down the Ocean Drive well enough to not get hit by traffic going out towards the Texas A&M Corpus Christi. Okay? Or I can go to Ponish. I'm halfway in between. And I've got, to the left, I've got these bushes. Okay, it looks like oleander to me. This growing out over the sidewalk, so I can't see traffic coming out of town headed for A&M. And then to the right, there is a brick pillar now that has a big palm tree growing on it. Okay, so I can't see the traffic coming in from the Corpus Christi, Texas A&M Corpus Christi, unless I get killed. Okay, and I'm going to go ahead one more time and report that to code enforcement, and if they don't do that, I'm going to take a risk of going to prison and being fined. I'm going to go cut that damn palm tree down, and I'm going to go ahead and take the oleanders off the sidewalk. I'm going to do that myself. Okay? Then if I'm going to my grocery store, and then I'm coming back to my place on Robert at Ocean, there is a house that's on the city side of that has all these shrubs and stuff in there. And then I can't see if somebody's going to run that stoplight, which they do quite frequently. I can't tell, and I can't pull out there, so I have to wait for 60 seconds and see if I can get the light to go and the people quit running that goddamn, that darn light there and get myself killed. Okay? Then I go in and have to cross Longview on Indiana when I go to my shortcut to Del Mar College. And then when you come up from Santa Fe headed for Alameda, then on Longview in Indiana, there's a house there that has all kinds of shrubbery and palm trees and stuff there. And the street comes like this and then makes a real sharp curve, and I can't see that one. I have to pull halfway out into the street, and I've almost been hit twice. Thank God it's only twice with traffic there. So I think that landowner there, the homeowner, needs to cut that stuff down, and so forth and so on. And then I go down Ohio Street to Swantner, and when I take a look to the right to see if there's any traffic before I cross Swantner there and continue on over to Staples, then I've got a tree that has all these big limbs coming down, and I can't see to the right very well on traffic coming from that end of the street. Okay, and there are others around town. Okay, now I have told people, and you can pass this on if you listen to this show at all, and I don't perturb you. I have a check signed for $1,000. and left the person to who it would be made out of, and I've signed the check. And if any of you find people get hurt out here because of the non-compliance with code enforcement or whoever around here, the city in general, then I will give you that check, and you can write in the personal injury attorney, and that'll be a down payment on you suing the hell out of the city for non-compliance of the code enforcement. Okay, got it right here. It's in that book. Okay. So you fill it out to whatever attorney you think will get you the most money if you were injured. And then you can go back, and I will be more than happy to give you a copy of this DVD of this show where I have said that we have those problems there and nobody pays the least bit of attention. Okay? And like I say, I don't know anything about chemistry, microbiology and stuff, and then I'm told that we can't figure out and we can't afford to have the true source of fecal choline, coliform bacteria and E. coli, which is Escherichia coli. That's the genus and species. That means it's found in the intestinal tract of most warm-blooded animals. And I was on that Coals and Ropes committee trying to figure out why we had all these problems with the signs going up that you got poop in the soup out there. And the city would not cooperate since they are masters, and they're the ultimate toxicologists, microbiologists, chemists, water chemists, and so forth, and find out who was pooping in what, because you can do that genetically these days. If you want to find out who's pooping in the soup or what it is, you can find out whether it's squirrel, cat, dog, mule, buffalo, aardvark, human, or whatever. But no, the city didn't want to do that. It was too costly at about $300 or $400 to find out that we've got major infrastructure problems with the sewer system, and that's where we're getting leaking human coliforms and E. coli into the bay, which can be a real problem for you. But the city doesn't give a damn. There's no money in it for them. Okay? All right. Then I'm going to get into the cost of Public Information Act request for Del Mar College. Okay? I run into problem after problem with that. Now, your Del Mar College is taxpayer funded with the taxing district. On October the 25th, I clocked in, I think it was 8 Public Information Act requests to Dr. Mark Escamilla, President, and I asked for information concerning some of the stuff that was going on at Del Mar College when they locked a dear friend of mine out, Dr. Olson. He's, as I said earlier, I think he was the department chair of social sciences. He's also a retired Army bird colonel, and he was airborne special forces, and I wouldn't mess with him on a bit. But they locked him out, stole his computer, stole a lot of his personal stuff because he filed a whistleblower complaint against Del Mar College. And then 6-7 years later, what we have is we have them finally taking care of business, and I think the check that was written to his attorneys and him was about $780,000 plus attorney's fees. Now, it also cost hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars in legal fees and so forth and so on, because we've got an attorney that couldn't handle it. They went to Austin to Graves Daughtry up there, spent a fortune, and they lost the battle with the 13th Court of Appeals, and then they lost the battle with the Texas Supreme Court, and they kept appealing and appealing and appealing, and that's what ran the damn cost to Del Mar College taxpayers out of the thing. And then somebody said, well, a lot of that was paid by the insurance company. Who pays the premiums? And when the Del Mar screws up at that level, and the attorneys for the insurance companies screw up, then premiums go up, and we have to pay more money. Okay? Now, in addition to that, on October 25th of 2018, when I asked for that stuff, then the Del Mar College sued the Texas Attorney General's office when the Texas Attorney General said, after Del Mar asked for a ruling, that they should give me that information. And now we're into the 4th appeal on that, and we've spent well over $60,000 in legal fees, okay, Plus, I don't know how many thousands of hours of our general counsel. He's a very well-paid attorney for Del Mar College, and for his hours and so forth. So we're well over $60,000, and the fourth appeal has not been heard yet. Make you feel good, taxpayers? Can you go in there and look at your wallet and you can see the dollars flying out of that, out of your checking account and your savings accounts and everything else, trying to pay the taxes to support a bunch of, I'm just going to say it, morons like that? I don't know what to tell you. All right. So then we've got rip-offs on construction bonds. Okay. The construction manager contract wound up being presented to AGCM, who's here in Corpus Christi, and a local architect that had donated money to some of the Board of Regents members on their political campaigns for re-election. Okay. And I'm in the middle of that. I have pulled and finally got, after protest, and Del Mar College submitting a letter to the Texas Attorney General saying, you know, we want you to deem this proper for us to give him that information, but we protest that. Okay, so I'm going to find out who's doing what with those particular things. There's a dead rat or two in the woodpile, folks. Okay, so what we've got is some of our elected officials who are making good money, I suspect. I'm not stating that as a fact yet. I'm investigating it, but I think a whole bunch of stuff's going on there. Okay, and then we've got the rip-off on construction bonds. I've talked to people that are over there that are watching that construction, and they say that these construction companies are buying the very poorest and the most worthless materials to build our buildings with. Now, Del Mar College is not in a financial position right now to maintain what we've got. And here we're building all these new buildings on East and West, and now we're going to start building all that stuff on swampland out there at Rodd Field and Yorktown. And you're being messed over, folks. I don't know how you're ever going to pay that off. Now, I have calculated from the public information that's available, public records, that Del Mar College has the highest debt to student ratio in the state of Texas. If you look at what we owe right now, before we get into all these bonds and more bonds, then it's over $30,000 per student is what Del Mar College owes to pay off the bonds and so forth. I can't get the little light diffusers in the elevator in the Garcia Science Building. Okay? If you go next door to Cole's building, there are great big huge grease spots and stuff all in the carpet over there. Sometimes those elevators are out for 2 or 3 weeks, and there are only 2 small elevators to get all those people in that building from the first to the second and third floor. So there's a lineup out there, and then we've got students stumbling upstairs trying to get up there, and you know, it's tough on the people that are in wheelchairs and so forth that depend on that. Okay. Now what I'm going to do is, I've got about 11 minutes left, and I do want to tell you, okay, that we have 3 faculty members who students have blatantly maligned, lied about, slandered, libeled, and so forth and so on. And what does Del Mar College do? They ignore it. And then they do not conform to the timelines on board policies to get promotion appeals done. They shut it down. They're just going to leave one of the professors of psychology over there, who was buffaloed and lied about and so forth, when she applied and for the promotion to full professor. She had to, it was so bad that her direct supervisor would not be forthcoming and straightforward with her, and not give her annual evaluations. And then the dean and the vice president over there bent that around and said, no, since she's done this, that, and the other, then we're not going to promote her. Now, she had to go and get an attorney and spend a whole bunch of money to appeal that, and it may go to court yet, I'm not sure. Okay, but all of a sudden the president woke up and he said, oh well, I'm just going to go ahead and approve that promotion, but we're not going to remove all that derogatory statements and so forth in your personnel file, nor are we going to consider reimbursing you for having to force us into a lawsuit or potential lawsuit in order to get this done. We're not going to pay you for that. Okay? We're just going to promote you and let it float down the river. Okay? Now, what kind of treatment is that, folks? And it happens not only to her, but another person that teaches in business who was maligned. And then Dr. Janelle Bennett was crucified over there, I hate to use that term, by 3 whiny students. She's one of the best PhD nursing instructors that I've ever met. And then I had a student go after me, and I still can't get the information about that. They've missed all the deadlines on policies over there. Policy means absolutely nothing to the Del Mar College administration and to our esteemed general counsel. And that's what gets the lawsuits flying, folks. So I don't know what to tell you. So we'll see what the outcome is. And then to add insult to injury, the psychology professor was told that she was unprofessional at one time in one or two of her actions. They didn't say how many. And then they put that into her personnel file, but they won't tell her what was said or done. Well, it happened, but we can't tell you. Well, that's sleazy, folks. And we've got some real sleazy people at Del Mar College and that administration, which is completely and totally bloated. So I have asked to be fired, as I said a while ago, and all I get back from a vice president of instruction, who is my boss over there, is Dr. Sansing, we can fire you, but you can't request to be fired. So I guess I'm hereby asking for you people to trump up some more charges against me, and I'm requesting that you go ahead and fire me. Okay? And then here's that AGCM contract that the Public Information Act requests, and I've got all this dancing around and all this crap going on this one, and so forth and so on. It's not going to come to a head very soon, but I'm going to force that. And then what I have here are the Board of Regents meetings, where it was stated on the construction manager contract that the president of the Del Mar College Board of Regents, who has received money for his elections and re-elections from many of these companies and the people that own these companies, he just happened to conveniently abstain from a vote when these companies come up for votes. And then I found out that he has resigned from Del Mar a while back, and guess where the man works? And for whom? Folks, I'm trying to paint you a picture. Maybe you'll take it one of these days. All right, Del Mar College harnesses the power of technology to deliver dreams with campus management. And we've got a picture of Dr. Mark Escamilla shaking hands with a guy from campus management. And it's under a sign that says Dreams Delivered. And if you go into What's Your Dream, which is one of their slogans over there, and Dreams Delivered, and you go into I didn't do it. I had several people laughing and told me they went online and Googled that kind of stuff and wound up with 60 plus porno sites. Okay, that's what we need, isn't it? Is a slogan like that. Dreams Delivered, or What's Your Dream? I'm getting tired, folks. I really am. And, the only saving grace is I'm not over there working all weekends long making labs equipment and the things that are needed to teach microbiology classes because of an unfortunate screw up by my department chair, turning classes over to a slob and someone who had a problem with the hooch over there. It was in the prep room, to the point where I'm not going to subject myself and or students to that. All right. Del Mar College, located in Corpus Christi, continues to experience one of the highest enrollment growth rates in the state of Texas. Now, folks, that is the biggest pile of bovine excrement I've run into in many a year over there. Okay? Now, as I said, I had math through differential equations. I took a graduate course in statistics. I have gone into the Del Mar College numbers on many occasions lately, and it's not true. Okay? But we're going to spend billions of dollars, or excuse me, hundreds of millions of dollars on facilities over there because we're bursting at the seams with students over there, especially those dual credit students that don't pay but a third of the normal tuition, and they don't go to campus. And now we're going to Beeville and all the outlying places so that we can have teachers out there in the high school teaching Del Mar College accredited classes, and they're counting those as full-time enrollments. So we're actually losing a bunch since 1992. Okay? And then I'm going to find out who made these statements in here when they hired this company through my Texas Public Information Act request privileges. And I want to have them verify this statement. I want to see the numbers that they use to make such a brash and blatantly false statement. And then I want to know who the persons were that made such bogus statements. Okay. I'm winding down. I've only got about 2 minutes left. Just easy. Okay. And then I've got bovine excrement written all over this document. So if you're curious, what you can do is go online and go into vikingnews.delmar.edu. Okay, and that's that https://, and this is the lead article from June 20th, 2019, if you want to see one of the biggest loads of bovine and equine excrement that I've seen in a long time coming out of Del Mar College. And then I've made some statements here in my handwriting that I can't read, and I think I did the difference between a butt kisser and a brown noser. See, we have people that claim that they've got trademark stuff over there that they've done on this advanced research, and that we are award-winning microbiologists. And then I look up the trademark and so forth. I've trademarked stuff in the past and patent in the research business with industry, and it didn't exist. So I asked for all that information, the research results, the research books, and so forth and so on, the trademark application, and I get back after 2 or 3 dances around. It says there are no documents responsive to your request. So you're being duped out there, folks, and I don't mind telling you. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and turn this camera off. I'm going to go ahead and zero in real close on those lilies, and I'll give you some information on how to get a hold of me. I'll be right back. Ladies and gentlemen, I can be reached at gsansing@gmail.com. I'll be glad to answer any of your questions. I would suggest as taxpayers that you need to go ahead and figure out who your Del Mar College regent is, and go ahead and get a hold of them and say, you know, is that old cranky guy at Sansing, is he telling the truth on the air or not? Okay? And then let's just sort it out. But the only way you're going to find out is if you start raising hell with them. That's the only way it's going to work. So I'm going to let you see those beautiful lilies, and that's Miss Connie, Miss Lynn, and Miss April 23. Good night.